Welcome everybody to the Teaching Healthy Cooking Class corporate webinar. I want to thank you for being here and for your time. In this webinar, I will be showing you how you can grow your coaching business by capitalizing on all the opportunities that exist working with corporate and stop trying to figure out where to get clients. I know what can happen when you finally start seeing your business get the respect you deserve. Imagine what your life would look like if you had a steady workload and stream of income. You will be so happy when you are on track and running your company with efficiency and making a good profit. So hang till the end for a special offer. But before you stay, let's see if you are in the right place. You're in the right place if you actually want to get to work and want to build your company. You're in the right place if you want to stop procrastinating and feeling frustrated. And if you want to get more clients, you're in the right place if you love this work so much that you would do it for free, but you're ready to stop doing that. You're in the right place if you see yourself as a business owner and recognize that you are now a company owner. You're in the right place if you would like to get a raise. There are a lot of coaches making money, and you want to be one of them if you want to help people and change lives. And you know that you are put here for a reason. We all have unique gifts to share. If you are ready to stop playing small and use your God-given talents to make a difference, everyone is here for a reason, a different reason, their purpose. You have to know your why. With any business or life decision, it is what keeps you moving towards your goals. Always reflect on why you want to do this work. Listen to your heart, and then you move forward with persistence. I am Sherry Mraz. I'm a health coach, registered yoga teacher, author, speaker, certified corporate trainer, and even lucky enough to be the winner of a Best Plate Award. I'm also the founder of the Wellness Cooking Academy. So let's talk about how I got started. I got started in this industry because I wanted to help people. I was always trying to spurt out information that I knew was going to change people's lives. I started my business seeing clients one-on-one. Most of them came directly from my yoga classes. It was because they knew me and they trusted me. So in the beginning, it was pretty easy to get them to sign up. Then I got divorced and I moved 1,200 miles away. I had to start my business completely from scratch. I didn't know anyone when I moved to my new area. After a few months, I decided to rent an office and started doing free consultations. That did not work. Here's a little hint. I do not spend an hour for free anymore, ever. We can talk more about that later. But I was working too much and I wasn't paying myself a consistent salary. So in essence, I was out of alignment with the very principles I was teaching my clients. And then I realized I had taught some cooking classes before my big move, and they had been pretty successful. So I decided to start teaching classes again to build my reputation. And it worked. I got known and started seeing more clients. Then I decided to get into corporate and start doing lunch and learns. I figured, how hard could it really be? Turns out I had no idea what I was getting myself into, because now I had to look a lot more official. I needed to have a way more polished image, and I was handing out pretty weak handouts. And so I realized that my recipes, my handouts, my contracts, proposals, they really all needed to be redone. And this was so time consuming. First, I had to design the program itself. It was hours and hours of reading, researching, developing the curriculum. I'm sure you get it, creating materials. What had started out as a really exciting project quickly turned into a race against the clock. I had a date. I had to be there. So as I worked to finish everything before the day of my cooking class lunch and learn, I remember wishing someone would have just handed it to me, given me a system with all the like techie stuff and all the graphics done. But instead, I had to figure it out the hard way. I made a lot of mistakes in those early days and invested a lot of time and money into refining my programs and marketing. Eventually, I will say that I mastered it. Then an interesting thing happened. Health coaches started asking me how I was teaching so many cooking classes and building my business. They especially wanted to know how to get into corporate. So let's move on and I'll show you how it happened. So my first corporate talk was at Citigroup. I had been teaching yoga there and they asked me to come give a talk within a week. So I purchased a talk that had all the material. Oh my gosh, it helped a ton. The only thing that I didn't do well, and here was my first lesson, the thing I didn't do well was close. After doing so many classes and talks and not getting anywhere, I realized that I was doing more teaching and not enough selling. You really need to have a step-by-step system that you follow each time you present. It's like a rinse and repeat. So let's talk a little more about my story. You have to know your why. With any business or life decision, it is what keeps you moving forward towards your goal, that passion. And you must know your audience as well. We all have a bunch of different life stories, and sometimes it can be really confusing to pick one. I hear from coaches all the time different stories, but they are forgetting the most important part. It must be relative to what your audience is looking for. When I teach my own cooking classes, I don't tell them the story I just told you. I told you the story of how I developed a coaching business. They don't want to know about that. What they want to know is how to get better. So I tell them my personal health story, how I had asthma, alopecia from being so stressed all the time. And I had a cancer scare before my 30th birthday. I had started to study the law of attraction and started training my mind to think positive thoughts. And then I had gone to a naturopath and learned that my diet had a huge impact on my health. And then I obviously studied nutrition. And it's been amazing to me that I was in my 40s before I had ever even heard any of this information. Don't ever think that you don't know enough, because you know more than the people that will be in your classes. And if you do have that occasional person in your class who's really schooled on health, don't worry about that, because all they do is agree with you. They're sitting there nodding their head. They actually help sell you. As we already discussed, you have to connect with your burning desire inside of yourself. I will show you how to approach companies so that you will be able to easily get more classes booked. I will show you how you can capitalize on corporate. If done correctly, they market your business for you. We will also be going over the key elements of a successful lunch and learn. And if you follow my guidelines and cover the 5 key elements of a class, you will be guaranteed to create a stream of paying work that comes your way. I'll also teach you how to keep it simple, that's key, and what topics you should cover in each class. Not only will you stay focused, but your audience will be able to digest the information to make changes. I'll also discuss getting signed contracts so you will be able to make more money doing something that you actually love, and we will go over charging so that you have a really good starting point. And many people at work are feeling very stressed. They have low energy. They eat at their desks, and they have no idea that the food that they are eating is causing their very symptoms. So my intention is to teach you that you must have a signature class. That is so important. Every expert is known for their particular specialty. You can make a difference in corporate if you weave your signature message into fun and engaging classes, as opposed to the standard boring lecture. Nobody really learns like that. People learn best when they are having fun. So let's talk about why corporate and what it can do for you. First of all, it gets you in front of a lot of people at once. Each of these people has a possibility of becoming your client. You can work it out with the human resource department what the final objective is. You always do that ahead of time. Many companies, they have budgets for wellness programs now. This is a huge incentive for them because long range, it saves them money. We have the ability to rethink that and teach that if people are happy and they like their jobs and the environment they work in, the world will become a more productive place. There are plenty of progressive companies out there. Google, Twitter, Zappos, just to name a few. You can do a Google search and you'll find a whole list of progressive companies that know that happy employees make good employees. So this is a sample from one of the flyers that we use to teach cooking classes in corporate. Energy is the topic, you'll see. That fits only too well with a long workday. When we educate employees that improving their food choices increases their energy, they actually feel better. The low energy, brain fog, and overall morale lifts. So this is the key information to present when approaching any company with your pitch. So once you are invited to teach a cooking class, Lunch and Learn, one of the greatest benefits for you working in the corporate setting is that they market the class for you. It becomes a part of their wellness program, and most always all their employees are required to attend. I once taught a class for a nationwide real estate developer. The employees showed up to the cooking class, Lunch and Learn, unsuspecting what they were going to learn. I could tell that a couple of them were skeptical and they just wanted to get back to work. But then the magic happened. That is the beauty of using food in a presentation. Those are the same people that maybe they wouldn't have sought out a class. So that's really the power of doing corporate. You know, you are infiltrating people's lives right at their work. And people who are resistant to change, it's like you're dropping a mustard seed. And if you follow my advice and sell them a series of classes, each time you attend, the seed grows. And before you know it, they begin to connect the dots. And those are the very people that are likely to become your best clients. You need to engage your audience. A lot of cooking classes are hands-on, but you probably won't have everyone doing that when you're at a work environment. So you're going to ask for a volunteer from the audience. You see the woman on the right? She was my assistant for the class. She got everyone involved, and people start like ribbing her and everyone's laughing. You can just give them little small tasks to do. And you also really want to ask a few questions. That also helps get people engaged. You can start with have they ever been to a cooking class before? What are their top 3 challenges? You want to keep it light. Just make it a fun environment. Remember that most of these people are generally really fatigued. They lack meal planning, organization, and overall nutrition basics. So by you offering advice and making sure you tell a couple of success stories about your clients, even if you don't have any, even if it's just your mom, you want to share something positive, something that gives them a vision of what it would be like for them to work with you. So you want to keep it simple and practical. Remember, they're at work. So this is a class that really should be no more than an hour. You can cover other topics when you return, but don't try to teach everything all at once. One topic per class. Like energy or meal planning or how to add living food to the diet. Don't go into information overload. Slip in the information between the steps in your recipe. So you're doing your recipe, talking to them about the ingredients. Remember, it's not a boring lecture. You want to offer some food benefits as you're going along. So if you're using ginger, a little tip about ginger. What does it do? Helps with inflammation. You guys, I'm sure, already have lots of tips. Probably the most important element, aside from sharing success stories, that's huge, sharing success stories, is making it profitable. And by that, what I mean is you're going to ask HR before your class, how you will work with their employees moving forward. So you'll have that determined before you get to the class. Will it be a consultation, a mini program, maybe just an email campaign? Whatever they agree to, that is what you are going to offer them. Never do a class without driving them to a specific outcome. Ultimately, you want to sign them up for either a series of lunch and learn classes on site, or you're just really building up the trust factor and start opening the door for maybe a full corporate wellness campaign or your private program. When building a coaching practice, you don't want to go around in circles, and you don't want to spend all your time focusing on tasks that don't grow your business. You need a plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. It's like you want to drive your clients to the final destination. You need a final destination for yourself in your mind. Create a roadmap and stick with it. You don't want to end up off course and actually not achieving anything. There are a few topics that go well with corporate. Nutrition for busy people, eating clean, information overload. You are how you eat, eating to reduce stress, eating for energy, brain food, eating on the run, healthy snacks and lunches. In some of the Done For You corporate kits that we have included 3 classes: nutrition for busy people, eating for energy, and meal planning, eating on the run guide. But even with those 3, they're so interchangeable. Those were just a couple of little sample topics. That's what you want to do. Use the information you have and just make it fresh by a new title. You don't have to keep recreating the wheel all the time. When you're working with the corporate client, you need to be talking to them about a return on their investment. You'll see the term ROI, return on investment. So you want to be telling them the benefits of working with you. And some of those are, you're going to help them lower healthcare costs. There will be an increased employee productivity. When people are healthier, they're more productive. There's less illness and less low energy. And also there's increased employee retention. When people are in a fun, family-oriented, loving environment, they stay. They want to keep their job. When they're feeling better, there's less absenteeism. And again, improved morale. You're creating this fun family team spirit. So in your pitch to corporate, you want to stress that creating a fun team spirit is the wave of the future. And let them know that 70% of our serotonin comes from the gut. When people improve their food and their lifestyle choices, they not only have more energy, but they truly become happier. And again, happy employees make good employees. So our last topic is how to contract the program. Who may you already know that works for a corporation, large or small? Take on a piece of paper, put like maybe 3 to 5 people that you can think of. Who would you actually contact? And then you're either going to send these people a letter, it can be an email, or even a phone call to tell them what you're doing. I had one student who did this from the Done For You kit, and then 3 other people, like 3 other jobs, asked her just from her making those initial contacts. It's sort of like build it and they will come. Once you get on a track and you start moving yourself forward, you will see how it grows. So, and she was amazed at how once she defined what she did, people started talking about it and her business grew. You want to find out who their HR person is. You want to offer them a consultation. So you will show up with a portfolio. Get like a folder that's a heavier stock, something that's really professional looking. And in it, you're going to put your bio, maybe a headshot. You're going to put your cover letter, a list of your programs and services, and have a couple of testimonials in there. And then during your consultation, this is when you determine their budget. So you always want to put the ball in their court. They're going to ask you, how much do you charge? And say, because I have different ways that I work with people and different programs, I need to know what your budget is so that I can match up one of my programs to meet your needs. So this way you can keep that ball in their court. And then once you have the contracts, you're going to send them a proposal with either a single class or a series of classes, which you're going to try to push for. Then you get a signed contract. You're going to send them an invoice. When you do an invoice, I always take a deposit. You can do 50%, depending on what you're charging. You can work that out. That's pretty standard in the industry. And oftentimes they're going to want you to provide them with a W-9 with your company information on it. If you don't have a company yet and you're just in business for yourself, sole proprietor, then you use your social security number if you don't have a tax ID. That's totally fine. You just put your business information, your name, and your social. So remember, all these steps are important as you want to be seen as an expert. You want to be seen as a business owner right from the onset. It's important how you present each of these steps. And then you are going to include that proposal. So let's get you invited back. So to get invited back at your initial consultation, try to obtain a commitment to be able to service their employees. You're going to let them know that you have a series of workshops and that you would like to follow up with them. So if they allow you, remember it's predetermined with HR, if they allow you to follow up, you can offer the employees email tips to get them on your email list and knowing what you're about. You can offer them consultations and or your programs. When you're doing the corporate lunch and learn, every piece of information you hand them, your benefits, your handout, you're handing them recipes, that all has your contact information on it. And most people don't throw out recipes, so they're going to take that home and they're going to remember you. That's really important. And if possible, get permission to be able to hand out surveys at the end of each class that you do. The surveys really give you great feedback on what they will be most interested in, what their biggest struggles are, and even how they see you as a presenter. Don't be put off by this, people commenting on how you actually presented, because it's really an invaluable tool. It will help you to improve. We have to be able to take constructive criticism. So when you offer your mini programs, don't offer the 6-month program. I 100% believe there's a time and place. I think it's the ultimate program if that is something you do. I think that long range, it has great results for people, but that can come much later after you have established a relationship with them. You don't want to scare them off by throwing such a big program at them. I always say it's like asking someone to get married on the first date. They're going to actually tune you out instead of tuning in. I know that if you implement just one piece of the information that I just shared with you, you will actually see results. When you have a plan and the right information, you feel more confident. You will look more professional. You'll be seen as an expert. And remember what I said in the beginning, you have a signature program, what you're about. I see a lot of coaches, they're jumping from one topic to another. And it's okay, again, different topics, you're retitling your classes, but you have to have a core message. So this is something that I teach in the academy. All of your products, services, and classes, they must have a red line through it. They must come back to your core message. People need to know what you're about. Then they will remember you, and when they have something that comes up with maybe the problem that you're about, then they're going to reach out to you. That's how you sell your services, and that's how you make money. All of your offerings have to point in the same direction. And remember, you have to charge to make money. Sometimes I think coaches think that charging or selling is like a bad word. You just have to think about it a different way. You need to retrain your brain. Think of it like a different word. Don't think of it like selling. You want to remember that the people that come in front of you, they're there for a reason. So remember I said in the beginning, you want to share your gifts. To be able to share your gifts, you have to also charge. And think of it this way. There are a ton of free offers out there, and sometimes they just sit in people's computer. They're unopened, That's not really helping people. People need to put some skin in the game. It makes them more accountable. So if you're uncomfortable charging, think of it that way, that you're actually doing it for them so that they show up. It holds them accountable. And besides, nothing screams novice worse than not charging. It's okay to do some things for practice, but no more than 2. Okay, that's your breaking point. No more than 2. You need to make money. You need to be seen as an expert. Experts don't go out and do things for free. You can't work for free. Doesn't work. And again, you want to be seen as a professional. So earlier I promised that I'd share how you can take this even further. So my goal is to help you succeed doing these healthy corporate cooking classes. And the best part is that I laid it all out for you. You don't have to struggle. So if what we talked about today resonates with you and you're ready to go deeper, then I want to invite you to join me in our mission to change the corporate environment while growing your coaching business. So with these Done For You Corporate Lunch and Learn kits, you will get all the tools you need to teach a successful class. And this is an incredibly supportive packet. It gives you the coach's outline, so you know what to do from the time you get there to the end of your class. It walks you through step by step. You get beautiful handouts. And again, they're brandable. You put your information on it. So now you have something really professional to hand out. Those go home with the people. They have them. They're going to remember you. And you're also going to receive a business packet which helps you organize your back end. So the business back office kit, this is something that I think is really critical for people to make money. When I first started teaching cooking classes, I was always in create mode. I was like running from job to job. I wasn't keeping track of my costs. I would just keep taking jobs, and I would come home and I would like throw the receipts in a pile on my desk, and then I'd move on to the next project. And then when I finally sat down with all my receipts, I learned that I wasn't always in the best position. I realized I was really going about it all wrong. You need to have a handle on these things, and you need to have a plan. To be efficient, you've got to really keep your costs down. There's got to be some boundaries, and that is how you put money in your own pocket, not catering to what everybody's asking you for. When you have a set program, and a set program that you know makes you money, you're going to be way more successful than just kind of throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. Doesn't work. In here, I've included also a show organization tracker. That is the most important form. That's something that I use with every cooking class or event, talk, whatever I'm doing. That's the form I use. Someone calls me, emails me, I pull out one of those forms, and I keep all the information on that form. It's in one place. I have a folder for every single show and job that's on my calendar. I take that form and I staple it to the outside of the folder. So at a glance, I can see everything on this form, from their information, packing list, deposits, balances, what I'm going to be teaching. It's a summary of everything that we're doing. Keeps me really, even my advertising, it really keeps me on track. You're also going to get a shopping list. And on that shopping list, it has a cost tracker so that you know with a glance what your net income is for each class. This is form with the quantities, the costs, and then how many people in your class. And so you figure out your net. Really important. You gotta keep a handle on your costs so that you can put more money in your pocket. So the other important tool is a survey. This is a corporate survey. It has information about you, but it also has about how they feel, and it matches up with the classes that are in this packet. And there's an email sign-up sheet. And of course, I'm giving you the forms to seal the deal in the first place. You got a pitch letter, proposal, a contract, an invoice, and a blank W-9 that you're going to fill out with your information. So if you're not, you have a series of corporate lunch and learns, which are 3 different classes. So when you give your pitch, you could say, I can come back once a month for 3 months. That's a great way to do it. So you can buy the series the full series of 3 classes. So you may have had trouble getting your programs and message out there in the past, and I want to show you that this time can be different, especially if you have support, tools, and a step-by-step plan. I really don't want anything to get in your way. You can sign up. You go under wellnesscookingacademy.com while we're here. Are you ready to get started today with the Corporate Lunch and Learn Kit? Can't give you any more than that. I am super happy that you joined, that you listened, took the time. I hope I get to meet you, know you even more. And again, thank you for being here. I appreciate it and wishing you an amazing, fabulous day.